안녕하세요. 오늘은 빼떼기죽 만들게요. 빼떼기죽 in 경상남도, but in Jola they call it 빼깽이죽. Is that funny? Wrong pronunciation? Or? 고구마 2개, 빼떼기죽. Alright, so I just need to thinly slice my goguma. Then we're going to dry it for a couple of days. Like that.
Can I have a small piece?
Raw? Really?
Yeah.
Can you eat raw sweet potato? I get them drying in the conservatory for a couple of days. Inspired by that boy who, 13-year-old who beat Tetris. Did you see that? To actually complete it.
Tetris?
Yeah.
There's an end.
Apparently, yeah.
So he was the first one to complete.
Yeah, he did it last week.
Really?
Get them outside. Right. So we'll come back and turn these over. Malin goguma. Yo. Okay, so it's been 2 days now. They're not quite as dry as I was expecting, but so I need to give it a bit longer. But getting there, slowly. 고구마 주세요. 감사합니다. Right, that has been drying for a few days now. Yeah, it doesn't quite look as white as some of the images that I've seen when I was doing my research, but I think it's okay. It's pretty solid. So first of all, my pat, or red beans in English. Not that many. So I have pre-soaked these. I've never really worked with red beans, so I don't know how necessary it is to pre-soak them, but I did. So I do that for 5 minutes. So from what I could find online, this dish was usually eaten by Koreans on the south in 경상남do and Jola, but mostly just the coastal regions, I guess. Maybe it spread a bit further, but where goguma, sweet potato, were readily available. For those regions, this was a go-to dish. You know? So historically, every family's 빼떼기죽 would have been quite different depending on what they had available at the time. So in keeping with that spirit, I've intentionally not gone out and bought anything extra, apart from pat, because that seems to be the one thing that everyone has in common. Okay, 5 minutes, so I'm going to chuck the other stuff in. I've used 2. 고구마 2개. Okay. It's been 10 minutes on a high heat.
Wow.
Smells good, actually, already. So now I've got to turn down the temperature. I'm gonna add a bit more water as well in a minute because it's okay. So we have rice and some mixed grains, lentils, some protein, then just let everything cook for 30 minutes, and that's pretty much it.
Is goguma soft?
It's starting to soften up. Ah, that smells lovely, actually. 냄새 좋아요. Okay, 30 more minutes. So you've never tried this before, have you? For Bojunim, who's from Seoul, yeah, she'd never heard of it before either, let alone tried it. So it would have been a common sight a while ago for a lot of the people who either grew up here or lived here in the past to see goguma drying out on the hillsides and outside people's houses and probably all along the streets as well. People do still eat it these days, more of like a healthy comfort food, I guess. Okay. But 30 minutes stirring, and I'll add a bit more water.
It smells nice.
Okay, quickly add some water. Well, I mean, similar in the UK would be, yeah, all sorts of stews and things. So, same as juk here, it's a very similar thing. You just take whatever you do have available, throw it all in a pot to make it go as far as you can. But yeah, stew in the UK. Alright, 10 minutes to go. That's thickening up really nicely and it smells really tasty actually. It started to stick to the bottom because I wasn't stirring it enough, but I've been constantly stirring it now for 20 minutes. Added a bit more water. 빼떼기죽. Do tell me if this is something that you used to have when you were a kid, right? And what your family put in there. So put a bit of salt and a bit of sugar as well, half a spoon for now, because I want to see how much sweetness is coming from the goguma. Maybe we'll put in some more later. Ooh, nice. Yeah, I'm curious. You can have it thrice.
Maybe we put too much rice.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's why I'm not putting milgaru or anything, because the rice will, starch from the rice will thicken it up, you know. I think this is good. It'll be tasty. And that's the point, isn't it? It's to use what you have in your pantry. Not bad.
So people eat with kimchi.
Yeah? We're gonna have with kimchi? Fresh kimchi or milgan kimchi? Mogan kimchi. Mogunji kimchi.
We don't have mogunji.
Oh, we don't? What's the, just shin kimchi? Shin kimchi. Yeah. Shin kimchi or
We don't have a shin
sen kimchi? We have shin kimchi. Did we finish it with samgyeopsal last night?
There's a tiny bit left.
Okay. Yeah, so when times were tough, this was a very common meal to eat over winter when other things were scarce. You've got your dried goguma that will last all throughout winter. Chuck that in a pot with whatever else you have available, basically. Ooh. Yeah. Okay, so some people will just serve it like this, and then others prefer to blend it up. Obviously, you wouldn't have had a blender back then when this was commonplace. So I do want to try it both ways. Let's put a bowl of it like this and give it a try. We can share, and then I'll blend the rest up, yeah? I added a little bit more sugar because it was lacking a little bit of sweetness. There we are. 빼떼기죽 or 빼깽이죽. 빼떼기죽.
Which is more difficult? 빼떼기 or 빼깽이?
빼깽이.
Is more difficult?
Yeah. Both similar, but because I heard 빼떼기 first, I got more used to saying it, I think. All right, I'll give it a try. I want to get a bit of goguma in there as well. Cheers. 위하여. It tastes what you would expect it to taste like, which is actually very tasty, because these are all flavours that I love. Yeah, it is tasty for sure, and very hearty. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, but as I said, I'm going to blend the rest up because that seems to be more common nowadays to blend it up. So I'd be remiss if I didn't give that a try. Bojunim multi-tab 주세요. You call it multi-tab? Yeah. I'm learning. 감사합니다.
알려고 놓고 아니 모르는데.
Yeah, unless you want some more. Okay, that'll do, I think. Nice. Oops. Okay. Yeah. 다진 빼떼기죽.
다른 빼떼기죽.
Somehow slightly different flavour. I like it.
You prefer mine?
I like it actually. I'm glad we made a lot. I'm going to have some every now and then when I fancy a snack. When I was reading about it, I know it's very different, but just the fact that people used to eat it out of necessity, but now it's like, or it's considered a health food, I guess. Where I'm from, I think that was like brown bread. Brown bread was very commonly, it was less popular or sought after. Brown bread was much less desirable than white bread, so it tended to be the poorer members of society that would eat that, but nowadays it's recognised as much healthier and therefore more expensive. Of course, that's the way it goes. Yeah. I like it. I think I'm going to make a batch of this every winter. But I think you want some more? Okay. Yeah, success. Thank you again for the comment suggesting this one. I think it was a success, very tasty. I will try this in a restaurant. Whenever we visit Dongyang, I'll give it a try. But I like my one, so it can only get better. I'm sure the authentic version is better. If you have a regional dish that you remember from your childhood, please let me know below, because those things are very interesting, you know. Beef bulgogi you can get everywhere, but 빼떼기죽, not so much. So I'm very interested to hear about more things like this, yeah. Okay, cheers. See you next time.
맛있어요.
맛있어요? 네, 맛있어요.